So last week we have discussed the basics of Ramis system. Hope you can hear me now. Right, we have discussed the Ramis basics. How does it? Who can interact with the Ramis, and what kind of services that taxpayer can have through the Ramis. And thereafter, we discuss about the Inland Revenue website, right? What kind of service that taxpayer can have through this Inland Revenue website. And further, we basically focus on the taxpayer registration part, how to obtain PIN, how to obtain PIN, and even SSID, but we did not discuss SSID in details. So we'll continue the SSID once we move to the corporate income tax return filing, right? So today we are planning to discuss individual income tax return filing. I think you can hear me clearly. If not, please inform, right? So this is the very high time to discuss individual income tax return filing, because individual income tax return has to be filed on or before 30th November 2025 for the year of assessment 24-25. I hope all of you well aware about that requirement. So that is why this is very high time to discuss the individual income tax return filing. So if you can remember, what are the primary requirement? What are the primary requirement that you to submit the individual income tax returns via this online platform? Can someone tell me what should you as a taxpayer, what should you have to fulfill in order to file the income tax return via this online platform? Yeah, TIN certificate, that's very good. Certificate or the TIN number, if you know the TIN number, it's okay. What else? One thing is TIN. Yeah, that's a very important one. You have to register for the individual income tax type. That is very basic, right? And in additionally, you need to have a PIN as well, right? If you do have a PIN and if you do have a TIN, through this TIN and PIN, you can access to the individual income tax type. I think Mr. Indika has already done this individual income tax calculation part, no? Is it Mr. Indika has already completed, no? Individual income tax return calculation part? Because, yeah, okay, we need that knowledge as well. So let me share my presentation first. Today I'm going to use the video, already prepared video, but just start with the presentation, PowerPoint presentation, right? So I have shared the previous session PowerPoint presentation with the Crown Campus. Hope you all received that presentation, right? Today one also will share at the end of this session, right? So I will switch off the video to share my screen. So let me start. I'm not going to do this particular, but I show you some, right? So I will discuss those are the basic thing in and even after that you return. I mean that return by the by right. You can access to the e-service and you can access to the e-service to file the return. මේක මම පොඩ්ඩක් සිංහල දැන් ඔයාලට පින් එක තියෙනවා නම් ඕන වෙලේක පින් එකලා මේ රැමිස් එකේ ඩෑෂ්බෝඩ් එකට ඇක්සස් කරන්න රිටර්න් එක ෆයිල් කරන පර්පස් එකට ඔයගලන්ට ඕනි වෙනවා මේ IRD එක මේ රිටර්න් එක ඉෂුව කරලා තියෙන්න ඕනි රිටර්න් එක ෆයිල්ස් එකට. Right, so say assume now you do have a PIN, you do have a TIN, and tax type registration already done, and return has been issued, right? So that case, no issue, you the return file. But there are instances some have this PIN, and the PIN already issued by the IRD, but the PIN can't hear. Hello.
So your voice is getting breaking and I can't hear you.
Is my voice clear?
It's not clear.
Hello.
Your voice is not clear.
Not clear, no? So let me check it again.
Now okay.
Okay, we'll check it. I'll try to fix it again. Now okay. Right. Okay. Thank you very much. So like please inform, right? Because of the heavy rain here, I'm having little issue. So my home is a bit overhang when there's a heavy rain to the connection. So in case you have issue with the visual, please let me inform, right? So I can cover all these things without having any impact to you, right? So okay, so we just talk about this PIN, right? So in certain cases, PIN may be not that means system may not take the PIN. Why? The PIN issued by the revenue expired within 45 days. That is the earlier situation. PIN issued by the IRB will be expired within 45 days, but now it has been extended to 6-month period. So the PIN issued by the Inland Revenue, now it will be okay for the 6-month period, right? So further, within this, before this expiry, right? What does the taxpayer has to do? Taxpayer has to double. Okay. So now let me check, right? Now network, that's the issue. I just called the provider as well. Okay, is it okay now? Hello.
Now it's okay, sir. But
Hello.
Hello. Now it's okay.
Hello. Okay. But time there are some issues, no? So next time what I have to do is I have to change my microphone. So let me change my microphone next time, right? Till then we'll try to continue right with this. Okay. So once I show the video, it will be a bit easy to you to capture this, right? So is it okay now? Still any echo, something like that? Hello. Is there any echo or something like that? Still? Okay, we'll see. We'll going on, right? Moving on. So the PIN issued by the Inland Revenue, it can be used now up to 6-month period, right? Within that 6-month period, convert that PIN to a own one, right? PIN issued by the Inland Revenue, it will be 14 characters. That PIN contain 14 characters, right? While you into your own one, right? It should be 8 alphanumeric. දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව ඉෂු කරලා තියෙන PIN එකේ කැරක්ටර් 14ක් තියෙන්නේ. මේක ෆස්ට් ටයිම් ටැක්ස්පේයර් ඒක තමන්ගේ වෙනස් කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වෙනස් කරගනිද්දී ඒකේ කැරක්ටර් 8ක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒ කැරක්ටර්ස් 8 අකුරු සහ ඉලක්කම් වලින් සමාන විය යුතුයි. right? once you log in, you can do some changes to the password. You can add security question. It also possible. So is it okay now? I'm just speak to the top microphone. Not clear. Right here, what you can do, you have to change the password and you can secure the password. And further, if there's no returns once you log into the system, if there's no return for the year of assessment 24-25, you can do two things. The first thing, there's the issuance option in this system, right? You can issue return to by your own, right? පුළුවන් ඔයාට return එකක් issue කරගන්න return එක තමයි මෙන්න මෙතනින් පෙන්නලා දෙන Nesquik කියන UI එක ඔයාටම පුළුවන් issue කරගන්න. එහෙම what you can do, you can ask tax unit to, so how can you ask taxpayer unit to issue a return? You have to mail to the tr@ird.gov.lk. Once you put a mail to the tr@ird.gov.lk, they will issue, right? No means no, not clear, no. Okay, so okay, we'll move, right? So then thereafter this is login. Thank you very much for waiting. What about now? Is it clear now? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll continue. Sorry for the inconvenience again. I just asked several times to the service provider to upgrade it, but there are some issues anyway. So we'll come to the session, right? We were here, right? So the main focus is individual income tax return e-filing. So before moving to the individual income tax return e-filing, we need to identify what are the available options for the individual income tax return e-filing. Some of you have already experienced this new return format. I mean, from 23-24 onward, Inland Revenue introduced the simplified version of the individual income tax return. Therefore, even for this year, that means for the year of assessment 24-25, there are two returns. One is simplified individual income tax return, and other one is the standard individual income tax return, right? So what is the difference between this simplified version and the standard version? The simplified version, it contains only one page. Actually, it's a one-page return, right? So it's a very good development. It's just a one-page return, but in addition to the return with the simplified version, you have to submit the statement of asset and liabilities as well, right? So return is one page. Thereafter, you have to complete the statement of asset and liability and the declaration. That's it, right? So that is why we call it simplified one. And the standard one is not like that, right? The standard one, it contains return of income. That means we call main return plus 10 different schedules, right? Plus 10 different schedules. So it's a lengthy one. You can see one main return and other 10 different schedules. And not only that, even with the standard return, you have to submit the statement of asset and liability. So that is why we call this the newly introduced one as the simplified return. Just one single page. It's very easy to use, and we have make it more and more user friendly to the taxpayers. So now the question is, who is eligible to submit this simplified IIT return, right? There are two, no? One is simplified one is standard one. So now the issue, who eligible to submit this simplified IIT return? So from this year onward, that means from the year of assessment 24-25 onward, taxpayers who have employment income, interest income, or the solar income, right? Three of those incomes or one of it, right? The taxpayers, those who have employment income, interest income, and solar income, they eligible to submit the simplified version of individual income tax return. Not only that, the taxpayers only have one employment income, they also eligible to submit this simplified version. Further, taxpayers do have primary employment income plus secondary employment income, right? They also eligible to submit this simplified return. And taxpayers, those who have only the interest income, they also can submit the return through this simplified version. And taxpayers, those who have solar income, let me introduce what does it mean by solar income, right? Taxpayers, those who have solar income plus employment income or solar income plus interest income, they also eligible to submit this simplified return. The solar income means, you know, now it's very much popular, the resident solar panels, no? So once that resident solar panel system is connected to the national grid, right? So you will be eligible to have some money from the Ceylon Electricity Board, right? So the production of your solar panel, if it is exceed your household consumption, right, you will be entitled to the solar income from the CBE, right? So so that income, in case you have that solar income, right, still you can submit the simplified version of the return. So then the question is, who need to submit the return using the standard format? That means the main return plus 10 schedules. Who need to submit that one? It says the taxpayers, those who have business income or any other type of investment income, right? So remember, the taxpayers, those who have business income and any other type of investment income other than the interest. That means it may be rent, right? If you do have rent income, you are not eligible to submit the simplified version of the individual income tax return. If you do have commission income, if you do have dividend income, if you do have royalty income or annuity, that kind of investment income, you need to submit the return using this standard format, even for the capital gain, right? If you do have a capital gain, you cannot submit the simplified version of the individual income tax return. In that case also, you need to submit this standard return, right? මේ standard return එක සහ simplified return එක කියලා version දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙන් standard එක දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ simplified එක දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ employment income එක, interest income එක සහ solar income එක තියෙන අයට විතරයි. taxpayer කෙනෙකුට මෙන්න මේ කියන income ප්‍රභව අපි කියනවා source of income, මේ කියන ප්‍රභව තුනට අමතරව වෙනත් යම් ප්‍රභවයකින් ලැබෙන income එකක් තිබ්බොත් එයාට මේ simplified version එක දෙන්න බෑ. එයා දෙන්න ඕනේ standard version එක. let me elaborate this with some example, right? So say suppose just a doctor, right? This doctor do have employment income from government hospital, and doctor do have the private dispensary as well, right? So in that case, whether this doctor is eligible to submit simplified return or the standard return, what do you think? He do have, say, the employment income from government hospital and the private business practice, that means the private dispensary, and he do have interest income as well. Which return he has to file? Can someone answer?
Standard.
Standard, yes, of course. Why standard? Correct, standard. Why standard?
He
Yes,
has
that is
received
because
two
of
types
business
of salary.
income. Sorry?
He has received two types of salary.
Yeah, no. The thing is actually the income that that particular doctor earn from his private dispensary, it's not the salary. It's a business income, right? Sorry. Hello. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Any idea?
There are two types of income, sir.
Yeah.
Business income and employment income.
Correct. Yeah, as far as the doctor do have business income, he is not eligible to submit this simplified version, no? Correct, exactly right. Thank you very much for answering. So that is the reason. So in case person do have business income or investment income other than interest, they are not eligible to use this simplified version. They are eligible to submit the return through this standard one, right? And not only that, in case taxpayer do have qualifying payment to claim, in that case as well, they have to select the standard return. Qualifying payment in the sense, you know, that donation made to approved charity, donation made to government, donation made to that Samruddhi beneficiary family woman, right? Likewise, there are a lot of different type of donations, right? In case taxpayer do have that kind of donation, they also need to use the standard version, right? Not the simplified. Well, if that part is clear, we can move to the next, right? So here it is the interface, right? So once the taxpayer log into the system, right, he may have this kind of qualifying page, right? From this qualifying page, taxpayer has to tick and taxpayer has to say whether he do have these kind of income, employment income, primary, employment income, secondary, right? In case taxpayer do have both primary and secondary employment income, still they can submit the simplified version. And taxpayer do have the resident solar, they also can submit the simplified version. Taxpayer do have interest income, right? Still they can submit the standard return. Even taxpayer wish to submit the nil return, still they can use the simplified version. But in case taxpayer do not do have some other income, as we discussed, business or other investment income, they need to submit the standard return. How to navigate to the standard return? They have to click on this statement number 6. Once the taxpayer click on this statement number 6, definitely they will be moved to the standard return, right? So in case taxpayer click on the 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 or the total of these, they will navigate it to the simplified version, right? So we'll come to that part later, right? So this is the simplified version. So let me introduce the features of this simplified version. This is, you can see here, this is the simplified return. This is the old, right? This is single page, right? So you have to enter the employment income here. You have to enter the investment income, interest income here, and the solar income here. Then system will calculate the tax liability. That is why it is known as the simple. On behalf of the taxpayer, system will do the calculation and everything, right? What does the taxpayer has to do? They have to even there's a pre-population, right? So the data available with the Inland Revenue will be automatically pre-populated into this simplified version. What does the taxpayer has to do? Taxpayer has to check whether these pre-populated data are correct, right? If correct, nothing to do. They can just submit this return with the IRD details and the calculation. But in case there's some deviation from the auto-populated data and the taxpayer's data, in that case, taxpayer can edit this, right? That is really important thing. There are auto-populated data. Taxpayer has to check this data. If it is not in line with the taxpayer's data, can edit, right? So and other important feature is the return page. You can convert to your preferred medium. That means you can convert this into Sinhala medium, Tamil medium, or the English medium as your preference, right? Okay. So, and we'll share this. I have made some calculation as well, right? This is what you have to enter for the simplified return if you do have this kind of income. I'm not going to discuss in detail this calculation because Mr. Indik has already done this calculation part, but I will share this presentation. So you can go through this, right? And you can find out how does the system calculate the tax liability. So I have included the tax liability calculation here for this example, and there's another example for the standard return. So this is the features of the standard return. As you can see here, this is only just the main return, and here there are 10 hyperlinks for the subschedules. So here you cannot enter the data for this main return. Instead of entering data to the main return, what you have to do, you have to enter the data for the relevant subschedule. Once you enter the data to the relevant subschedule, from the schedule data will migrate to the main return. That is how the standard return works, right? And other important thing is even for the standard return, data will be pre-populated. So IRD data will be pre-populated to the standard return as well, right? Even within the standard return, what does the taxpayer can do? Can check whether these details are correct. If not, they can edit, right? So those are the features. Definitely share the PDF. This is not a PDF. This is a PowerPoint presentation. Definitely we'll share this PowerPoint presentation, right? So soon after this session, I will share this with the corporate campus, and they will share among you all, right? And this is the calculation. There's another one. This is the calculation for the standard return, right? So let me share this as well. So I'm here also, I'm not going to discuss in detail, right? Once you receive it, you can go through, right? Okay. So now we'll move to the video. I have shared my video. So let me inform, right, whether it is visible to you. Okay. Is it okay? Is it visible? Is it visible, this video? Yeah. Hope you can see. Okay, check if it is visible. Okay, thank you very much. Fine. Fortunately, it's working. Right. So let me. Okay. So I think now you can remember from where you need to log into the system, right? From where you can access to the REMIS. To access to REMIS, you have to open up the Inland Revenue website www.ird.gov.lk, right? And from that website, you have to select the e-service, right? Once you move the cursor to the e-service, there will be a drop down, right? From that drop down, you have to select the access to e-service. Once you select the access to e-service, right, you will be navigated to the access to e-service web page. From that web page, bottom part of that web page, right, you can access to the your own account within the REMIS system, right? Here I am using this. It's a kind of technical development, but this is 100% same as the interface that you can see when you try to submit the return, right? So only difference is in this page, it's a bit different, but after this page, this is identical to the development in the production, right? So from here, you have to select the personal tax matters. So we'll move forward. Okay, here it is, right? Okay, right. So once you click on this personal tax matters, you will be navigated to this login page. Right here, you have to enter your TIN and your PIN, right? So let's see what will happen once you enter the TIN and PIN, right? So I'm just entering the TIN here, that means taxpayer identification number, and then I'm entering my PIN. It should be 8 digits one. Once you convert the PIN issued by the IRB, right? After you enter the TIN and PIN, you have to enter this captcha, right? Here, this captcha you can change, right? Using this refresh icon, you can change if it is not clear, right? So let me show it again right here. I'm using refresh button to change the captcha, right? Okay, so now then I have to enter this captcha as well. It doesn't matter whether it is simple or capital, right? So even you enter the captcha using the capital or simple letters, it will be accepted. මේ captcha එක simple capital ඕන එකකින් use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right, okay. So once I enter my PIN and the captcha, now I am in the my own account within the system, right? Here you can see there are a lot of icons and items, right? Through these icons and items, you can access to the different type of data, right? So let me show. Seems to be we do have a question. How can to have I can have the PIN if someone has TIN? Yeah. So as we discussed in the last week, right? There's a within the access to e-service webpage, there's a icon to PIN request. From that icon, you can request a PIN, right? If you do have a TIN, you can make a request for the PIN. Then PIN will come to you. You can use that PIN and the TIN then in order to log, right? Okay, so you can see there are a lot of options here, right? So the return filing summary, account summary, my profile, clearance status, and tax agent details. You can check through this dashboard, right? Okay, we'll see. Right. So account summary is this. This is profile. This is since this is test data. There is no much, right? But if it is a real case, there will be a lot of details, right? So, and the process flow icons as well, return state and assessment details. In that case, you have to select the tax type and period code, right? So then you can check the assessment details refers to the individual income tax for year of assessment 24-25. There's no data here, but if data available, you can check, right? Your assessment details as well. So that is other thing, right? Here you can see this taskbar, right? So in addition to this dashboard icon, right, you can use this taskbar option as well, right? Here, even though you, you can use this return filing status, this icon, to access to the return filing summary page, or if not, you can use this taskbar. So it doesn't matter whether you use the taskbar or the icon, you will be navigated to the same position, right? So here now you check once you move the cursor on this return schedule management hyperlink in the taskbar, right? There will be a drop down. From that drop down, you can find out whether this person is registered for the individual income tax or not, right? Here you can see the individual income tax is there. That is because this person is registered for the individual income tax. In case this person register for the VAT, there will be a VAT as well, right? So we'll check. We do have some questions. So we'll come to this DIN later, right? So it is related to the payment of tax, right? Once you do the payment through these online apps, it requested the DIN, right? So you can have the DIN from the access to e-service web page. I have shown you, I think, during the last week, right? So the voucher number, there's a hyperlink for the voucher number. From that voucher number, you can access to the DIN. And there's another one, I think it refers to the SSID. If we can log in, if the SSID issued by the IRB, what to do? So yeah, so the thing is actually this SSID is not needed for the individual income tax purpose, right? If you assign a tax agent and in case you allow tax agent to log to the system through the SSID, in that case, you can have the SSID for the individual as well. But most probably individuals are not using this SSID, right? The SSID will be used by the corporates and the partnership, right? So we'll see how does this SSID work with the corporate and partnership on next week, right? Right. So we'll move. Set return also there, right? Set schedule also there. Statement of estimated tax liability and the individual income tax return, right? And further, you can upload the schedules and document via this return schedule management icon as well. That is why here there's a item called upload schedules and document, right? Okay, we'll move forward from here, all right? We select the individual income tax, IIT. Okay, so once we select the IIT, we will move to the individual income tax return filing summary page. Here you can see the taxpayer identification number and the name of the taxpayer and the latest year of assessment, right? Here the latest year of assessment 24-25. Here you can see all these year of assessments are triplets. That is because this is the testing environment, right? In production, you cannot see the triplet. You can have only one for the one particular year, right? So now what you have to do, you have to select the year of assessment 24-25 and you have to proceed. Once you proceed with the year of assessment, right, you will be in the qualifying page, right? We call this qualifying page, right? And as I told you earlier, this from this point on, you can convert the RAMIS databases into your preferred language. That means into Tamil, or again you can convert it into the English as well, right? This is the Tamil version, and again you can convert to the English. That facility is given, right? Okay, here now from this page, taxpayer has to select the type of income that taxpayer do have. If you can remember, if you wish to file the return via this simplified version, you have to select 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or one of it, right? Here I just select 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll see what will happen. So there will be a confirmation message. It says acknowledging that my income is employment income, interest income, and so on, right? So you acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, you will be moved to the simplified return. Here it is. Okay, this is it, right? This is your simplified individual income tax return for the year of assessment 24-25, right? You can again check the team, you can check the name and the year of assessment. Then you have to select whether you are a resident or non-resident for this year of assessment and whether you are a senior citizen or no, right? But very importantly, you can see a message here under this blue color, right? It says, for your convenience, we have pre-filled some of the information, right, based on the available data, right? We have pre-filled some of the information based on the pre-filled data. However, it is your responsibility to ensure the accuracy and provide the correct details. That is very important. So you can see you have just opened the return. Once you open the return, there are some information here. So IRB has pre-populated the details refers to your TIN number using the data that IRB do have. Inland Revenue එක මේ Inland Revenue සත්තුව තියෙන දත්ත පදනම් කරගෙන ඔයා ලොග් වෙන පළවෙනි සැරේම data ප්‍රමාණයක් ඔයාගේ return එකට ඇතුළත් කරලා තියෙනවා. So in this case, you can see this person do have 2 primary employment income from this company. Those are not the actual companies actually, right? Enviro Solution Private Limited. the employer team is there, remuneration from the that particular company is there, and exempted and excluded income, there's no exempted or excluded income from this employer, and this person do have another employment, but it also from the same company, right? It may be different, right? So in case sometimes person might have employment income from 2-3 companies within 1 year of assessment, because you know, in the private sector they just change the employer on time to time. So you may work for the ABC company for the first 6-month period during this year of assessment, and you may be serve for the XYZ company for the next 6 months. If it is so, you do have 2 T10 certificates. One is from the ABC company and another one is from the XYZ company, right? The details refers to those 2 T10s will be auto-populated here. What you have to do is you have to check whether these details are correct. මෙතෙන්දි වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි ඔයාලා මේ ඩීටේල් correct ද කියලා බලන්න. මේ employer හරිද, employer ගේ PIN number එක හරිද, right? මේ declare කරලා තියෙන remuneration එක හරිද, exempted or excluded income එක හරිද කියන එක verify කරගන්න එක taxpayer ගේ වගකීම. So compulsory to submit the set return for the IIT. It's not compulsory in case you do have only the employment income, right? And if you do not have considerable amount of interest income, it is not compulsory, but even I cannot say something like this, right? The Act says those who have exclusively employment income, they are no need to submit the set. But nowadays, no one can have exclusively employment income. At least they do have account for the salary purpose. No? Therefore, no one is there with the exclusively employment income. But generally, if you do not have significant amount of other income, I mean business or interest, and you, in case you do have only employment income, you can skip this set, but it is not legalized, right? If set is issued, I think it is best way to submit it, better to submit it, right? Even with only the employment income details. Right, okay. So now we move forward from here, right? This person do have 2 employment income, right? We check, right, whether those details are correct, right? If we need to do some change here, what we can do is we can click on this blue color hyperlink. So can you see? Once you click on that blue color icon, that data will come to this pop-up box. From this pop-up box, you can do the alteration. You can edit those data. So the second employment income originally appeared as the primary employment income. Now I convert it into the secondary. So likewise, you can do the adjustment, right? Even you can add some other details as well. Suppose you have 3 primary employment income, still you can add the new record, right? So sometimes that record may not come to the IRB. That may be the reason that record is not available here. So here, we can change the type of income, we can change the employer name, we can change the team, we can change the remuneration. You can do whatever it is based on your T10 certificate, right? And the page number 1A, right? It is the APIT deduction on primary employment income. The amount deducted from primary employment income is in the page number A1, right? Here in this case, the second APIT on secondary employment income has not been deducted, so I have added that one. Okay, originally තිබ්බේ අර 25 මම add කරා. ඒ විදිහට මට changes කරගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මෙතන මේ interest income එකට අදාළ details මොකුත් මෙයාට ඇවිත් නැහැ, right? දැන් හැබැයි මෙයාට interest income තිබ්බනම් interest income එකට අදාළ details උත් මෙතනට ඔකෝ pop up වෙලා තියෙනවා, right? දැන් මේක ඇත්තටම සමහර අයට ඇත්තටම ගොඩක් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. සමහර අය return එක ගිහින් බලුවාම ඇත්තටම එයා දන්නේ නැහැ යාට considerable amount එක interest income එක තියෙනවා. interest income එක base කරගෙන tax එක calculate කළාම අන්තිමේදී අමතර tax අය not the all සමහර අය මේ interest income එකට අදාළ මේ details delete කරනවා. හැබැයි මම කියන්න ඕනේ it's a useless, right? you can just delete the interest income details from this return submission, but from the back end, it will be pop up to the officer at IRB. Officer can identify this person had this much of interest income. ඒ නිසා මේ interest income එක delete කරන එකෙන් අතරම වැඩක් නැහැ. Then here in this case, no interest income pop up to the schedule because sometimes maybe two reasons. One is the person not have any interest income, or person may not have much number of bank account. And other reason, the bank may not submit the particular schedules to the IRB. If bank not yet submit that schedule, right, once you log into the system, you cannot see the interest related details. මේ අවුරුද්දෙත් ඔක experience කරන සමහර අය අහනවා මට මෙච්චර bank accounts තියෙනවා හැබැයි ඒවේ details මෙතනට pop up වෙලා නැහැ කියලා. Maybe because of the non submission of the schedule from the bank side, right? ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට what does the taxpayer can do? Using this add button, taxpayer can generate this pop-up box and taxpayer can enter the details. While entering the interest related detail, please make sure to enter the withholding agent PIN correctly. Right? Withholding agent PIN, that means financial institution PIN number, bank or the relevant financial institution PIN number. Please make to enter the correct withholding agent PIN and the withholding certificate number. So those two are very much important, right? PIN and the certificate number, very much important, right? And the other thing is here, as well as the employment income, what you can do is you can edit the entered data, right? It's not final, right? Say you have entered 4 transactions and now you just need to delete one, if possible. And further you need to change one, it's also possible, right? Any questions refers to the data entering, primary data entering to the simplified version. Any questions? Okay, here so I have put some primary details. Interest received amount, here you have to enter the gross interest income, right, not the net figure, and the WHT deducted amount. And in case you do have exempted or excluded interest income, you can enter here. Can someone say what are one example for the exempted or excluded interest income? Tax liability and exempt කරලා තියෙන interest income එකක් කාට හරි කියන්න පුළුවන්ද? Anyone? දැන් ඔයාලට fixed deposit වලින් interest හම්බ වෙනවා, saving account වලින් interest හම්බ වෙනවා, right? ඊට අමතරව දැන් සමහරුන්ට unit trust වලින් interest හරි මොකක් හරි එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා, සමහර අයට මේ bonds වලින් discount එකක් coupon rate එකට interest එකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. So out of all these different type of interest, can someone say one example for the exempted or excluded interest income? බද්දට යටත් නොවන interest income එකක් කාට හරි කියන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, we check. No, senior citizen interest income is not the one exempted. It is a liable. Even in the hands of senior citizen, interest will be liable. So that is the law. EPF, yes, it's not the interest income, no, but the EPF, the amount received from the EPF, it is exempt, but it is not the interest income. It's a kind of employment income, right? It's a kind of terminal benefit. So it will be exempted, but can someone say
Treasury bill.
Sorry?
Treasury bill say.
No, the thing is actually treasury bills are not liable for the WHT or the AIT, right? Even though treasury bills are not liable for the WHT or the AIT, the treasury bill income is not exempted, right? So in case taxpayer do have treasury bill income, what he has to do, he has to disclose that income and he has to pay the tax on such income using the progressive income tax rate. Treasury bill වල treasury bond වල ආයෝජනය කළාම හම්බෙන interest එක liable, ඒක exempt නෑ. එකම දේ ඒකට WHT deduct කරන්නේ නැහැ. WHT deduct කරන්නේ taxpayer has to self-disclose that income and has to pay the tax? The answer is here. It's a foreign currency interest received from the RFC or NRFC accounts, right? So interest received through RFC or NRFC accounts will be exempted, right? So thank you for the answering. So in case you do have such interest, you can disclose that income under the case number B, right? Okay. Then we'll come to the next part, third part, solar, resident solar panel, right? Under the case number C, that data will not be auto-populated. මේ solar panel වලට අදාළ data auto-populate වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒක auto-populate කරන්න තැනක් නැහැ. අර interest සහ employment income එකට අදාළ data දැන් employer ගෙන් සහ ඒ අදාළ financial institution එකකින් IRB එකට ලැබෙනවා. ඒ ලැබෙන data තමයි අර table 1 සහ 2 වල pop up කරලා තිබ්බේ. හැබැයි මේ solar panel වලට එනකොට එහෙම data නැහැ. එහෙම data source එකක් නැහැ. So in case taxpayer do have solar income, by himself or herself has to disclose such income and can claim the solar relief as well, right? So you have to enter the solar income under the case number E and case number C for the total expenditure brought forward balance on acquisition of solar panel. You know that the maximum 600 rupees will be allowed as a relief on solar, right? But there are conditions that solar has been installed after 2021, 1st of April, and it has to be installed in the place of residence, and it has to be connected to the national grid, right? In case all this criteria has been fulfilled, right, such a solar is entitled to claim the solar relief. Solar relief will be 600,000 per annum, right? So the out of the cost, out of the total acquisition or installation cost, 600,000 can be claimed in the first year. Second year, another 600,000 can claim, and even in the third year, another 600,000 can claim if cost is exceed the 1.8 million, right? If cost is say assume it's a 1.5 million, so relief will be stopped at the 1.5 million amount, right? So let me move forward, right? So I'm entering this person do have 1.8 million solar expenditure. So system take out of that 1.8 million, 600,000 allowed as a relief, and the solar income, it has to be entered by the taxpayer, right? Say he's entering, it's 204,000, right? And then taxpayer has to enter the installment payment and installment payment, no AIT, not AIT, installment payment, right? Then self tax එක ගෙවලා තිබ්බනම් අර set return එක කීයක් හරි tax ගෙවලා තිබ්බනම් taxpayer has to enter the self assessment payment. So now we have already done, right? Can you see? We have already done this tax calculation and everything, right? So based on the data that we have entered to the table 1 and table 2, system itself calculates the total assessable income, and from the total assessable income, system deduct the solar relief 600,000 and personal relief 1.2 million. After deduction, taxable income will be 5,640,000. Then system will itself calculate the total tax payable on this 5,640,000 using the slabs, right? And the tax credit is 415,000. So based on that, system calculate the balance tax payable amount or the refund amount. So that is what you have to do. So simplified return means it's very simple. Data will be auto-populated to the system. You have to check those data. One second. What is WHT? Brief explanation. WHT is the withholding tax, right? Deduct against the interest income. You know, before 2025, 1st of April, right? So WHTO AIT, that means advance income tax, will be deduct on interest income at the rate of 5%. So from the year of assessment 2025, 1st of April, WHT will deduct on interest income at the rate of 10%. And APID is the deduction from the employment. Once you receive the employment income, right, employer may deduct the APID. That means advanced personal income tax, earlier known as the PAYE, pay at you earn, right? So it will be deducted by the employer at the time of payment of salary. How many months solar action post can be brought forward? It can be brought forward for the 3 years period, right? So the solar acquisition post has to be claimed within the 3 years period. How to enter RP last year? On return overpayment balance, right? If you do have the on return overpayment balance, you need to use the standard version, right? Here you cannot enter that part, right? If you do have previous year balance to claim, right? That means unaudited excess payment to claim against the tax liability, you have to use the standard return. What is the difference of cost of acquisition and the brought forward cost? No, I mean there's no difference actually. The cost of acquisition means the installation cost or the acquisition cost actually. The brought forward cost means say if this is not the first year, it has been acquired say 2 years before. So there will be brought forward amount. No? So say you have acquired the solar say at the price of 2 million. From the first year you can claim 600,000 of that 2 million. So the brought forward balance will be 1.4 million. So this is how it works, right? I hope I have answered for those questions. If not, please raise it again, right? Okay, so we'll move forward, right? Here, once you click the save draft button, whatever the data auto-populated and the entered to the return will be saved as a draft until you submit the return, right? දැන් මේ විදිහට වෙනස්කම් කරලා අපි හදාගත්ත return එක අපිට පුළුවන් වෙනස් කරන්න ඔයගලන්ට පේනවා මේ summary page එකේ summary section එකේ මේ cages තියෙන්නේ grey color, ash color. ඒක වැදගත් දෙයක්. Ash color cages you cannot edit. You can only edit the white color cages, right? If the cage is gray color or the ash color, that means you cannot edit that cage. So if you wish to do some changes for the amount in the gray color cage, what you have to do is you have to do that change to the primary position or the primary cage, right? Here the total assessable income is here. You cannot change the total assessable income from the cage number G, but still you can change the total assessable income by changing the employment income and the interest income, right? So that also important. And you can use the save draft button to save the data, and even you can use the next button as well. It doesn't matter whether you click the save draft button or not, right? Once you click the next button, whatever the data that you have entered to the return will be saved until you submit the return. Save draft button එක හරහා අපිට මේ data save කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ next button එක හරහා අපිට මේ data save කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. No need, right? Do we need to have income from solar to claim the relief from solar panel? No need, right? So even without having income, you can claim the solar relief, but the only condition is you have to install the solar after 2020, and it has to be connected to the national grid, and it should be in the place of resident, right? Interest income අදාළ නැති field එකක් තිබුණොත් remove කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? මම හිතන්නේ interest income අදාළ නැති field එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මම මෙතන හිතන්නේ මේ අදහස් කරන නැති interest income එකට අදාළ නැති transaction එකක්. ඔව් අදාළ නැති transaction එකක් තිබුණොත් ඒක remove කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් සමහර වෙලාවට බැංකුව එවන data වල ID number එකේ මොකක් හරි mismatch එකක් ඉඳලා අදාළ නොවන interest income එකකට අදාළ data ඇවිත් තිබ්බොත් ඒක remove කරන්න facility තියෙනවා. මම ඕනනම් ආයෙ එතන පොඩ්ඩක් පෙන්නලා දෙන්නම් මේක remove කරන තැන. interest income එක අපි work කරනවා. මේ තියෙන්නේ අපි මෙතන පොඩ්ඩක් ඉස්සරහට ගිහින් බලමු. interest income එක ඇත්තට මෙතන නැහැ. මේකේ pop up වෙලා නැහැ. අපි දැන් මේකට enter කරනවා. enter කරපු එකක් වුණත් නැත්නම් auto pop up එකක් වුණත් අපිට remove කරන්න පුළුවන්. අපි enter කරනවා. right. මේ විදිහට අපිට data enter කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේක enter කරලා මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ add button එක click කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි මේ data එක table එකට සහ summary page එකට යන්නේ. right. ඔන්න දැන් මේ තුනක් තියෙනවා. අපි එකක් delete කරන්න යන්නේ. remove. remove කළාම ඒක අයින් වෙනවා. ඒ විදිහට අපිට අයින් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. okay. So we were here, right? Okay, now everything is okay, right? So we move to the next page. Next page means the asset and liability statement, right? It says your return has been saved as a draft. It will be available until you submit the return, right? So even with the next button, you can save the entered data. So now you are in the statement of asset and liability, right? Here you can see it also for the asset and liability statement as well, there are pre-populated data, right? If you submit the previous year return asset and liability details will be auto-populated to this year. But in this case, since this is a test data, there's no previous year return. That is why there's no data, auto-populated data for the asset and liability statement. කලින් අවුරුද්ද රිටර්න් එක දීලා තිබ්බනම් asset and liability එක ඒ data මෙතනට auto pop up වෙනවා. හැබැයි මෙන්න මේ වෙලාවේ ඒක එහෙම auto pop up වෙන්න නොවෙන්න හේතුව කලින් අවුරුද්දේ data නැහැ, මේක test data නිසා. Right? So here what you have to do is you have to enter the immovable property related data, movable property related data, investment related data, and your liabilities and kind of thing, right? So how to enter the data, right? Let me show it again right here. So you have to click on this add row button. Once you click the add row button, there will be a pop-up box like this. Type means whether this is a local property or the foreign property. If it is a foreign property, type should be B. If it is a local property, type should be A, right? So you can change the type as well according to the asset that you have. And then you have to enter the other details. Situation of the property means the location and the date of acquisition and the cost and the market value. In case you don't know one of this, you can skip this page, right? So you can just put the cost and the location, not the market value at the current date, right? So then you have to click that button. Once you click that button, that data will move to the table. So again, here I'm just trying to enter another detail, another asset related detail. It's the type B, that means foreign income. The foreign asset, the situation, Australia, date of acquisition, you can select from this calendar. No need to enter the specific date, right? However, because of the format, you have to enter the year, month, and the date. The approximate date is enough, right? So cost and the market value also, if available, you can enter. If not, you can enter only the cost or only the market value. So see, now there are two details, and then once you click on this blue color number, you can further amend this, right? So see, I just put this Colombo details into the box again, and within that box I can have the opportunity to amend it. So likewise, you have to enter the movable property related details and the movable property related details as well. Movable property in the sense motor vehicles, right? Here also you have to select the add row button, click the add row button, then there will be a pop-up box like this. In this pop-up box, you have to enter the description. That means you have to say whether it is motor car, motor van, motorbike, or whatever it is. Registration number, date of acquisition, and the cost or the market value. Right? So here also you can determine whether you enter this data or not, right? That means some cases people do not enter the registration number. Instead of registration number, they just enter the other amounts. It's possible, it's okay, right? and then the bank balance including deposit as at 31st March 2025, right? So the relevant details, the bank name, account number, invested amount, right? Shareholding related details. If you do have shares, you have to enter, you have to disclose those details as well. Cash at hand, jewelry, gemco, other valuable things in the hands as at the final day of this year of assessment. And thereafter liabilities. Liabilities means the loan related details, right? So everything you have to enter if available, right? Then say once you complete this part, right, you have to click the next button, right? Once you click the next button from the statement of asset and liability, you will be moved to this declaration page. Here you can see there are two parts. Sorry. It's very much request if you can mute your mic, right? Please mute your mic, right? Okay, thank you. So there's a question, can we save and log out? Then can we do edit data before submit? Definitely you can, right? So at the middle of this return filing, right, if you do have some other things to do, what you can do is you can save the data up to that point and you can log out, right? And then you can log into the system again, maybe the same day or some days after, right? So once you log into the system again, you will be able to see the data that you have already saved, right? Okay, then there's another question. Interest income විතරක් තියෙන taxpayer කෙනෙකුට loan interest deduct කරන්න දෙනවද? It's a very tricky question, right? It's a very tricky question, right? So under the section 11 of the Inland Revenue Act, it says the incomes that incurred for the purpose of production of income, right? The expenditure that incurred for the purpose of production of income deductible under the general rule. On that basis, under the literal meaning, we can say literally yes, but it's not very straightforward, right? Taxpayer has to prove that this loan has been obtained for the purpose of investment, right? If it is a personal loan or if it is a housing loan or vehicle loan, the interest that you paid on personal loan, housing loan, or interest or vehicle loan cannot be deducted against the interest income. So you, as a taxpayer, you have to prove that interconnectivity. This loan has been obtained wholly and exclusively for the purpose of earning the interest income, right? So that is it. Okay, we'll be back to this declaration, right? So declaration do have two parts. The part A, to disclose the details of approved accountant. That means if this return has been filled by the approved accountant, that approved accountant details has to enter here. Like in most of the cases, individual income tax returns are filed by themselves, or they may ask to agent to do it. But even they ask agent to do it, agent will not disclose their details, right? So why agent use the taxpayer's own PIN rather tax agent SSID and kind of thing? They therefore they may not disclose the part A, right? So in case part A is not applicable to you, what you can do is you can say no for this question. Whether the return or part of the return is prepared by an approved accountant or any other person for a payment, you have to say no, right? Then the part A will be disabled and you have to enter the details for the part B. That means taxpayer's declaration, taxpayer own detail, right here. So since this is yes, I can enter the detail, right? If we say no for this, we cannot enter any data, right? So let me do it, convert it right here. Now I mark it as a no. So now I cannot enter any data here. So I move to the part B. That means the taxpayer details, right? Taxpayer name, taxpayer phone number, mobile number, email address, and the NIC number or the passport number if the taxpayer is non-citizen, right? And the date. Date should be the current date, right? No point of entering other dates. Anyhow, it take the current date, right? So then there are some information. Then you have to click the next button, right? You have to click the next button 3 times. Even you are filling the simplified return. From the standard return, you have to click the next button. Then from the statement of asset and liability, you have to click the next button. And finally, you have to click the next button from the declaration. Once you click the next button from the declaration, you will be moved to the confirmation page. Here you can see this is the confirmation page. Whatever the data that we have entered available here, right? See, so but here only thing is you can just refer those figures, details, and kind of things, but it is not allowed to do any changes here because you are in the confirmation page, right? So if everything is correct, what you can do is you can submit it, right? But before submit, you have to do something, right? So if you wish to do some changes here, what you can do is you can amend it, right? Or say assume everything is okay, then you have to upload the supporting documents, right? Return of income. If T10 is available, you have to upload the T10. While you are uploading the supporting document, you have to select the supporting document as the document type and the relevant document subdocument type, and then you can browse the already prepared the document. It may be T10, or it may be here asset and liability statement is already there, so no need it. But if it is a T10, what you can do is you can upload it, right? So there are 5 MBs, 5 or 15, I'm not 100% sure. There are 5 MBs or 15 MBs for each individual to upload the document. You have to select, and then it will comes to here, and then you have to say save. Even you can remove, right? If you wish to remove it, it's possible, right? You can remove and you can save, right? I just save it without any supporting document, right? So you can submit the return even without the supporting document. If so, what you have to do is you have to say relevant document will be uploaded later, right? And there's another button to print this confirmation page, right? It is very much important to print this confirmation page. Otherwise, you may not have the confirmation. So you may not have the confirmation for the data you have entered in your tax return, right? So after you have a printout and everything is okay, that means the calculations are okay, all the data has been entered correctly, everything is fine. Then what you can do is you can click the submit button. Soon after you click the submit button, return will be submitted to the IRB, and there will be an acknowledgement as well, right? So here I did not submit it, right? So if I just click the submit button, it will be submitted to the IRB, and the acknowledgement will be appear, right? So even the acknowledgement, there's an option to print the acknowledgement. So make sure to print the confirmation page and the acknowledgement before you leave from the system, right? Okay. So we have covered the simplified return. So we'll see what are the questions. So who is approved accountant? There are a set of approved accountant as per the Inland Revenue Act, right? So we'll make a short note on who can act as approved accountant on next week, right? So how to fill nil return? So that means if it is nil, that means no data, right? No data. You do know. So there may be 2 different type of nil return. One is there's no tax liability because your income is less than the threshold of 1.2 million. So it will be a nil, but even though it is nil, you may have some income, right? The other version, nil means everything nil. You do not have any employment income. You do not have any business income or the investment income, right? So those are can be treated as the nil returns. So if it is a nil return, no need to enter any of the data. Part A is not essential, right? Individual income tax pay is not essential to fill the Part A, right? If this return is filled by themselves, they can say no for the security question for the part A. Once we say no for the part A, it will be disabled to us. So we have to enter only the taxpayers' data, right? Okay. So now let me move to the standard return, standard version, right? So while we are having a discussion on this standard version, still in case you do have something to discuss about this simplified return, you may ask questions, right? As I told earlier, this standard format is a bit complex one, right? There are main return and the 10 relevant subschedules or schedules, right? So you have to enter the data for the relevant schedules. Here also, I just log into the system. I just log into the dashboard. From the dashboard, I move to the return schedule management, and from the return schedule management, I just move to the return filing summary, right? So here you can see now the return status is draft. That means we have filled the simplified return for this particular taxpayer, right? As far as this has not been submitted to the Inland Revenue, what you can do is you can edit the draft or even you can remove the draft, right? It's also possible, right? So I'm just showing the two places where we can access to the return filing summary page. We can use the return schedule management option, or even we can use this icon, return filing summary icon as well, right? Here you can see once we click on this submit to e-return, all the letters in the blue color, it will be a hyperlink to the other page, right? So again, we are in the return filing summary page, the same summary page, no difference, right? Same summary page. There won't be any differences, right? So 24-25 return status is draft. That means the field data available with this return, right? We can remove the draft, right? So let me do it, remove, right? I just remove. So once you remove the draft, whatever the data that you have entered and whatever the data pre-populated will be removed from that draft, right? So now you can see the return status is again new, and then we can open it, new return, right? Proceed. This is again we are in the qualifying page. Since we need to use the standard return, we have to select the statement number 6, right? Nothing else, only the 6. Once we click the next button from this page, will be moved to the standard return, right? So here it is, standard return main page, right? So again, taxpayer details, and you have to mark whether you are a resident or non-resident and whether you are a senior citizen or not. Right here you can see even the return status is new, there are some details. That is because of the pre-population. IRB has pre-populated certain amount of data to the simplified return as well as to the standard format, right? Here also, so employment income related details pre-populated, right? So you can see all these cages in the main return except the cage number 80, all other cages are ash color. That means you cannot change. You cannot enter the data or even you cannot change the data on these cages. So how we can do the changes if it is so? We have to open up the relevant schedule, right? So other important thing is you can move among the schedules using the next button. That means if you click the next button from the main return, you will be navigated to the schedule 1, right? So from the schedule 1, you can use the next button to move to the schedule 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6 likewise, right? But it will be a little bit time taking process. Therefore, instead of using the next button, you can use the hyperlink in front of each schedule. You can use once you select the particular hyperlink, directly you will be moved to that particular schedules, right? So here, just see, I just check on the hyperlink for the schedule 1. I just move to the schedule 1. So here I'm in the schedule 1, and those are the pre-populated data, income related data, employment income related data, right? And here there are boxes below the table, right? If you wish to edit or if you wish to remove, it is possible, right? See, I'm just going to edit this data. I just click on that blue color hyperlink, that primary employment income. once I click on that blue color hyperlink, that data comes to the cages. Within the cages, what I can do is I can do the edit, and then I have to click the update button. Once I click the update button, edited data will move to the particular table, right? So in case the secondary employment income details we wish to add or we wish to edit, it's possible, right? And again here it is very much important to make sure to enter the correct employer team, right? Otherwise you will be in trouble while allowing the tax credit. The PIN of the employer and the remuneration according to the T10 certificate, right? And make sure to click that button. Only you click that button, that data will move the table and the main return, right? So table 2 to enter the terminal benefit related details, right? If you do have terminal benefits, that details has to be entered for the table 2, and part 2 to disclose the exempted employment income, right? If you do have exempted employment income, you have to disclose that income under the part 2 of the schedule 1. The data entering process is same. What you can do is you have to enter the data for the boxes below the table, and then you have to click that button. Once you click that button, that data will move to the table as well as to the main return, right? So see, I just entered the exempted employment income related details as well, and then even I can move to the main return by this option, right? There's a hyperlink to the main return. From each schedule, you can directly move to the main return. And now I am from the main return, I move to the schedule 2, right? Here I am in the schedule 2. Schedule 2 to disclose the business income. So as we discussed earlier, in case taxpayer do have employment income or the business income or the any other form of interest or any other form of investment income, they are eligible to submit the return via this standard format, right? So the table 2 is to disclose the business income. In this table 2, you can see there are 3 tables. One is the business income from the sole proprietorship, and second part is the business income from the partnership, and third part business income from the unit trust, right? So based on the taxpayers income of each of these sources, right, they have to disclose the business income here. And other important thing is, right, while entering data to the business income, you have to enter this activity code. You can see. So once you move to the drop down, there will be a lot of different activity codes. If you know the exact activity code for your business, you can enter it, right? But in case you don't know the exact activity code for your business, what you can do is you can use the 60 as the activity code. Right, this 60 is identified as the activity to be updated, right? So let me show you, right? So I just enter this data with the some activity code, and then I have to click that button. So I click that button, then data will move to the table as well as to the main return, right? So I'm going to enter another one. Here I just select the 60 as the activity code. Nature of business may be trading, service, consultancy, right? So professional service, professional practice, vocational practice, whatever it is, right? And gain and profit from the business, that means tax adjusted gain you have to enter to the case number 203, and total business turnover from the proprietorship you have to enter to the case number 204A, right? So make sure to enter the tax adjusted gain and profit to the case number 203 and the total turnover to the case number 204A, right? You have done this kind of calculation with Mr. Indika. So now what you can do is you can use that data to fill this return, right? data entering process, data editing process, data removal process is almost same for the schedule 1, schedule 2, schedule 3, schedule 4, schedule 6 and schedule 7, right? So there's no difference in the process of data entering and the data editing, right? But the data type will be different, but entering process is almost same or similar, right? Here the table B to disclose the business income from partnership and table 3 to disclose the business income from the unit trust. And if you do have exempted business income, it also you need to enter under the schedule 2 exempted business income. So we'll move to the schedule 3 investment income schedule. We just move to the schedule 3, right? Using the next button, or even we can use the hyperlink from the main return and exempted or the excluded business income. If you do have, you have to enter those details to page number 216, right? So now we saved and we click the next button to move to the page number, schedule number 3. Schedule number 3 to enter the investment income. Investment income in the sense interest income, rent income, dividend income, capital gain income, royalty income, and annuity income, right? There may be different type of investment income, right? Whatever the type of investment income, you have to enter here. Here also there are 3 tables. Tables 1 to investment by your own, and table 2 to investment by the partnership, and table 3 to investment by the unit trust, right? So other important thing is, while you are entering the investment income related data, please make sure not to enter the 15% final withholding tax deducted dividend income here, right? If you enter the final withholding tax deducted deducted dividend income, or the lottery winning income, or the other one is sale proceed from gems and jewelry, right? Such income you need to disclose under the schedule 6, right? Not under the schedule 3, right? Make sure to do it, right? So we do have 2 questions, we'll see. All schedules are uploaded. Yeah, I mean, you are referring to this standard return, right? All schedules are uploaded, but if particular schedule is not relevant to you, what you can do is you can skip it. Say, as an example, if schedule 5 qualifying payment, you do not have any qualifying payment to claim, you can just skip it, but it will be there, right? So once you submit the return, it will be there with nothing inside the return, nothing inside the schedule. Can we retrieve the return against once it is submitted? No. If you submit it, you cannot retrieve it, right? So that is why I highlighted that, right? Before you submit the return, make sure to have a printout of it, right? So you can have a printout of it, or even you can save the PDF in your desktop for the laptop. So make sure to do one of it, right? Otherwise, after you submit it, you cannot retrieve it by yourself. If you need to retrieve it after submission, you have to ask the assistant from the IRB officer. Okay, so we'll move forward. Right, here we are in the schedule 3. We have entered the investment income related details. Here also what we can do is we can edit, we can remove, right? We can do the changes for the data until we submit it, right? After submission, nothing we can do, right? I'm just skip that part because we have done this part under the business schedule, right? And then we move to the schedule 4. Schedule 4 to disclose the other income, right? If you do have other income which is not categorized under the employment, business, or investment, such income has to be disclosed through this schedule 4, right? Schedule 4 do have two parts. Part 1 to disclose the other income, and part 2, that means page number 210A, to disclose the remittance, right here. So remittance from the employment, remittance from the business, foreign remittance, right? Remittance from the investment, right? So you have to disclose here. Another important thing is, even it is remittance, you cannot enter the data in any other currency term. You have to enter those details, data in the terms of LKR, right? Rent, we should enter gross rent or after maintenance allowance. So here, what you have to do is you have to enter the gross rent. I mean, actually, not the gross rent, the accessible rent income under the schedule 3. And there's another part in the schedule 3 to enter the rent relief. Rent relief, that 25% of the rent income you can claim as a relief, right? So let me show it, right? So we'll move to the schedule 3 again. This is for here, this part, right? So rent relief, rent income, 25% of the total rent income from the sole proprietorship and the partnership, right? Here you have to put that amount, right? So the rent income you have to disclose as the accessible income from the rent. That means after deducting the rates and kind of. Schedule 4 we have discussed, and then we'll see, right? So we can save draft, or we can click the next button, right? By both these ways, we can save the entered data, right? So we'll move to the main return. So now you can see, based on the data that we have entered to the schedule, system has calculated the total assessable income, rent relief also there, right? And system calculate the total relief and total deduction from the assessable income, and even the taxable income, right? So up to that point, system has calculated based on the data that we have entered, right? Then schedule 5 to enter the qualifying payment related detail, right? So that is why I told, in case taxpayer do have qualifying payment, definitely they have to select the standard return rather the simplified version, right? So here there are some validations are given according to the law, right? So likewise, you can enter the data for the qualifying payment. Here. Then move forward, right? This is it, right? So likewise, we have to complete the schedule 5. Data entering process is similar to the main return. Similar to the schedule 1 and 2, right? You can edit the data, you can remove the data. It is possible. Then we move to the schedule 6. Schedule 6 to disclose the final withholding tax related detail. So what are the final withholding tax liable incomes? Here you can see, please refer the the table of final withholding payment, non-final withholding payment, and so what I want to highlight here, once you move the cursor to these blue color buttons, system will show some messages, info messages, right? So you can use that option as well. There are a lot of info messages, right? You can use those info messages. And here, basically dividend income, interest from the revenue from lottery, and the sale value of the gems will be only liable for the final withholding tax, right? If you do have dividend income, that detail you have to enter under the schedule 6, not in the schedule 3, right? So only the income and the withholding amount you have to disclose under schedule 6 as far as it is final. Okay. So data entering process, I'm not going to repeat it again and again. So you can enter the data, you can edit the data, you can remove the data. That facility is available with the Schedule 6, 7 and the rest of the schedules as well. So we do have 2 questions. Rent income making built-in negative electricity supply expenditure. If it is so, it will be a kind of business, no? So generally, businesses do provide that kind of services, right? If it is so, that rent income will be the business income, right? From the business income, certain expenditure can be done, right? Rent income should be on cash basis. Can we deduct the maintenance cost? It is more than 25. No, once you deduct the rent relief, right? That's all, right? You cannot deduct anything other than that 25% rent relief as a maintenance cost. Yeah, it's a cash basis because it's investment income. Investment income we have to account on cash basis. Okay, so we'll move forward. So we'll move to the Schedule 7. Schedule 7 here, right? So this is to enter the non-final withholding tax deduction details. Maybe from the interest income, maybe from the rent income, maybe from the service providing, right? So that sort of incomes are liable for the non-final withholding, even the interest, rent and some services, right? So in case taxpayer do have such non-final withholding tax deduct details, you have to enter here, but make sure that detail will be auto-populated by the system to the Schedule 7, right? So if there's no auto-populated data, what you can do is you can check your own details and you can enter that detail here, right? So here in this case, you cannot see any auto-populated data because no interest income or the withholding related schedules were run here. That is why no data. But if the schedules run, definitely there will be some details for the non-final withholding tax, right? And here also, what you have to do, say, assume no data has been transferred, no data has been populated here. If it is so, you have to enter the transaction-wise detail. Source type, in of the withholding agent, AIT or the withholding agent certificate number, right? Amount received, date of acquisition, and all these details you have to enter, and then you have to click that button. So likewise, you can enter 100 transaction, 99 transaction here. But in case you do have more than 99 interest or the withholding related transactions, you have to enter those details via CSV format. If in case you use the CSV format to disclose the details of this WHD deduction, right here under the Schedule 7, what you have to do, you have to enter the total using the dummy PIN number and the dummy certificate number. It is must, right? If not, you will not be entitled to claim the WHD or the AIT credit, right? So make sure if you do have more than 99 transactions, interest or the withholding deduction, withholding related transaction more than 99, you have to use the CSV format, right? And you have to submit the data via CSV. And here in this return, you have to enter the aggregate amount, right? Make sure it, right? And so here I'm just entering some more data, right? So what we have to do, I have to enter the details on those cages and I have to click that button. Other important thing is this cage number. So not here. This cage number 710, right? So the claim WHT amount, it's a must, right? You have to enter that amount. Without entering the claimed amount for the year of assessment 24-25, that credit will not be linked to the Schedule 9, right? So please make sure once you enter all the withholding tax related details to the table, please make sure to fill the cage number 710, right? මොකද ඒක කලිය නැත්නම් අතන්ට යන්නේ නැහැ. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දැන් අතරම advanced WHT නෑ ඉන්න total එකම ඔයාලට ඔතන enter කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Okay. So once likewise we have to complete the schedule 7. Once we complete the schedule 7, we navigated to the schedule 8 tax calculation. Here the total assessable income is already auto populated under the case number 801. Once it is auto populated, what you have to do, you have to distribute that total assessable income based on the source of income. That is because some of the assessable income will be taxed at the 40% tax rate, right? And one of the assessable income will be taxed at the progressive tax rate. Some of the taxable income will be taxed at the 10% flat tax rate. If it is a capital gain income, it will be taxed at the 10% flat rate, right? So liquor and tobacco related income will be taxed at the 40% flat tax rate. Any other income, I mean, including the employment, the interest, and business, will be taxed at the progressive tax rate. So it is very much important to distribute the amount correctly. Distribute the amount in the case number 801 correctly within the schedule 8. Until you correctly distribute that amount in the schedule 8, you will be not allowed to move to the schedule 9 using the next one, right? So once you correctly distribute the amount, then only system will allow you to move to the schedule 9, right? So I have distributed correctly and move to the schedule 9. Schedule 9 to enter the tax credit, right? There are various type of tax credit, foreign tax credit, and the cage number 902A is the cage to enter the 60% self-assessment tax refund, right? So somebody asked question where we can enter the previous year excess payment. That previous year excess payment can enter into the schedule 9 cage number 902A, right? And installment payment related details we have to enter to the schedule 9B, right? So based on that, you can complete the schedule 9. So now we have already done the return filing, right? We have calculated the tax liability and we have entered the tax credits as well. See here, now the main return, everything is completed. And schedule 10 is another schedule, schedule 10 to disclose the deduction of business losses. You know, business losses or the investment losses can be deducted while calculating the assessable income from the business and investment, right? So accordingly, the way you deduct the business losses and investment losses against the income, that detail you have shown in the table, schedule 10, right? There are few tables. In case you do have an issue with the loss deduction, please contact me via my WhatsApp number, right? Here now again we come to the main return. Now everything is completed, right? So even the exempted and excluded income is there, and then we have to move to the statement. Statement is again the same statement as we seen under the simplified version, right? Here you have to enter the assets and the liability related details. Since we have already done that part, I'm not going to discuss in detail. And then we have to click the next button from the statement of asset and liability. Again, as per the simplified return, we move to the declaration. Within the declaration page, what we have to do, we have to say no. Generally, we have to say no for the question number. That means the part A. We have to say no involvement of the tax consultant here when filing this return. Therefore, we have to enter only the taxpayers details to the part B, right? And then we have to click the next button. Once we click the next button from the declaration, you will be moved to the confirmation page. Here it is. But this confirmation page is comparatively lengthy one, because there are main return plus 10 10 schedules, right? Even though you enter the data or not within the confirmation page, you can see all these schedules, right? So and make sure you cannot do any changes in the confirmation page as per the previous case, right? At the bottom of the confirmation page, there are 5 buttons as simplified return, right? So one is to upload the supporting document. So I am in this supporting document UI here. What you can do is you can upload the relevant supporting document, maybe deed certificate, maybe financial statement if you do have a business, and maybe rent agreement or whatever it is. You can upload the supporting documents and you have to say yes, save, right? So once you click the save from the upload document UI, you will be in the confirmation page again, right? So in case you have nothing to upload here, what you have to do is you have to select the relevant document will be uploaded later, right? So after that point, everything is completed, right? If you are satisfied with the data available in the confirmation page, what you can do is you can submit the return by just click on the submit button. Soon after you submit the return, system will generate the acknowledgement, and it will be comes to the your interface, right? So once the acknowledgement is appeared, right, make sure to have a printout of this acknowledgement as well. It will be the proof document that you have submit the return. And not only that, here, even after you submit the return status will be changed to the submitted in the return filing summary, right? So that's it. That's all about individual income tax return filing. It's bit lengthy because there are 2. So we have discussed all these 2, simplified version as well as the standard version. So let me check whether we do have any more questions. No, not that all the time. No need to submit. No need to certify by the chartered accountant. I think there's threshold limit, right? So especially for this is threshold even especially for the private limited. So let me check, right? So I'm not 100% sure, but for the personal income tax returns, no need to qualified. No need to approve by the chartered accountant, right? But let me check the threshold and relevant other details. So any other questions? Now time has lapsed by, because I had a severe issue at the beginning of this, because of this internet connection. And again, sorry for that inconvenience you faced during the early part of this session, right? So and make sure if you do have this kind of issue, make sure to correct or fix that issue before start the return filing, right? If you try to do the return filing under the situation where I have faced at the beginning of this session, it will be a bad experience for the return filing, right? So make sure you have a strong internet connection, right? And the next week we have to discuss the corporate income tax return filing. Any questions? Yeah, it has to be answered by the Crown Campus. I think Crown Campus will answer whether the record is available from tomorrow onward, right? And Crown Campus, thank you for hosting this, right? So without your support, it will be difficult to do this, right? And I always admire the questions or feedback from the participant. As I told at the beginning, if you ask frequent question, I have to deliver something more than I have already prepared. So you have contributed very well during these sessions as well. You have asked certain questions, right? So it will help to me to elaborate more the relevant details. So now almost 11 o'clock, right? So if you do not have any more questions to ask, right, we can wind up the session for the day. So we will meet again on coming Saturday with the corporate income tax return filing, and with that I will going to cover the SSID as well. So thank you very much for your active participation, and have a nice weekend. Thank you. Good night.